Welcome to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast of the Illinois Air National Guard at Scott Air Force Base. I'm your host, Technical Sergeant Brian Ellison. The Roll Call podcast focuses on people, mission, and community. I'm joined in the studio today by Keeley Speck from Airman and Family Readiness. Keeley, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to our new setup.
Yeah, hello. It's very fancy.
It is very fancy. You make fun of me. You sound like my wife. Like, yeah, right, whatever. It's not that cool. Get over yourself. So, Keeley from Airman and Family Readiness, like I said, and one thing I wanted to touch on real fast is we were having a discussion. Now, if you know, whatever, World Peace wrote on this decision, you have to make a decision. It's between, now, I'm just going to say this right now. I chose one of them, but I would cheat. In real life, I would choose neither. Nickelback or Limp Bizkit.
What does it solve?
It solves world peace.
If I choose one of the artists?
Yeah, you got to choose Limp Bizkit or Nickelback.
Can you remind me a Limp Bizkit song? Just give me a few
See,
hums.
that, okay, well, what did they do? They did that remake of Faith.
You're going to have to sing it.
Oh, because you got to have faith. Faith. Just like that.
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell.
That's not ringing a bell?
No, but I'll give them a chance over Nickelback.
Well, that's what I said too, but I would have neither. Thank you very much. Keeley, I want to talk to you about holidays. They are coming up very soon, and I know that you are asking folks that if they know somebody that needs help to come in and talk to you. Is that correct with the meals for the holiday season?
Yeah, so we're getting donations by the USO for holiday help baskets. It's non-perishable food, and then there's also going to be some grocery cards to cover the cost. And we have 30 so far Christmas trees that are going to be allotted to us for the holiday season. So we're just going to let people either nominate themselves or be nominated by their unit. And
that's great. And they can do that by getting a hold of you at what phone number?
Our phone number is 618-222-5734. But preferably if they could email the org box. We do have a brand new org box now, so that both Travis or I will be able to get a hold of it, even if one of us is on leave or out sick. So that email address we'll just put in the bio. Okay.
This month is a very serious month. It's Domestic Violence Month. And you have a lot of resources on that. And you're very involved in that. And you gave me a nice little... well, let's just talk about it. There's just some very interesting things that I think I learned that I never had thought about as being power. I guess not abuse, but it's more power and control.
A big part of abuse the goal of abuse is to have power and to set up that control dynamic to really make sure that the relationship is one-sided, typically. A lot of abusers... A lot of people don't understand that they may be behaving in abusive manners. And so being really tuned into those warning signs of abusive behavior is key if you want to maintain a healthy relationship, but also that as leaders and wingmen and friends and family, it's really important to recognize when people are starting to isolate themselves, or if you haven't heard from them in a few months, or when you reach out and they're angry, like, please don't call me. If that's out of character for them, it's really important to maintain that relationship as best as you can, so that when they do eventually reach out, it's not an I told you so moment. One of the biggest misconceptions with abusive relationships is that the victim should just know when to leave and should just stay away. And if they don't, they're just not smart, or they don't care, or they're just making bad decisions, and it's just simply not true. There's actually over 50 obstacles to leaving a relationship. And, some of that is internal shame, if their family is religious, or if they have children and they don't know where else to go. There's also just feeling like if their partner is being threatening, that if you leave, I'll do this, that, or the other, that can make it a lot harder to leave. And if they are in a historically oppressed group,
Okay.
then it's going to be even harder to get resources for their relationship. Say if they're transgender and they're being abused by their partner, they may not know what's safe for them, where to go, what the resources are. If they're queer, if they're same sex, if they're black, if they're non-citizens, there's a whole slew of things that can keep people from getting help or knowing where to go or knowing that they can. And especially in our units, we do get phone calls where people just want to look at the basics of resources and just, hey, what can I get from TRICARE, for example? And then the conversation evolves into, I'm really upset at home, or and kind of explaining. It's not always physical violence, but the one we hear the most is financial abuse.
Yeah, I was very surprised to hear about this. That I think it's something that I have never thought about before. That control. I guess if you're controlling somebody's financial security, you really, because you always hear about, well, so and so, my wife or is only giving me $20 this week or what have you, and sometimes that's something that they've worked out. But that may not be something that's true for every situation.
Yeah, financial freedom is huge. If you remember getting your first job or getting your first car and being able to just go be your own person around the age of 18 or even 16, financial freedom is what gives people hope. We know that money doesn't make people happy, but it certainly can afford the resources that keep us from not being happy.
Yeah.
So if a person can't afford their favorite meal, if they're being told that they can't buy their favorite, this isn't just frivolous spending, by the way. So financial abuse would just be, keeping their spouse from getting a job, which is a little more gender centric, but keeping their credit cards locked, if they have a joint account, making sure that they aren't allowed to have their own account, sometimes even taking the vehicle so they can't even access the equity that they have made. And what we see in the military a lot is, or not a lot, but quite often we'll see a military member make a separate account when they were put on orders, for example, and then they'll filter all of their money into that account. And so then their partner, their spouse, is then left without that income if they were used to that dual bank account. So whether or not their partner has a full-time job, whether they're bringing in more income than their abusive partner or not, financial abuse is not about who makes more money. It's about who is allowed to grant access and why.
That's good to have that thought in your mind. Maybe when you're conversing with your other airmen or your friends in your wing or just outside of the wing in your squadron and whatnot. What can they do if they maybe suspect that, or what can they do if they suspect that?
So the National Domestic Violence Hotline they just updated their website September 30th, and it's really pretty. It's really easy to navigate. So if they just go to the hotline.org, that's a really easy way to navigate creating a safety plan, as well as things to consider for precautions to stay safe after leaving an abusive partner. On average, it can take a victim anywhere between 5 to 7 times attempting to leave their partner before they stay away for good. And that goes back to those 50 obstacles. But falling into the trap of apology is a huge one.
Right.
And so by creating a safety plan, that might include having friends and family that might keep you accountable to your goals, especially if there are children involved. But whether or not an individual has kids does not mean that they matter less. And so we want to make sure that everybody feels safe and stays safe. After a breakup of an abusive relationship, up to 2 years after the breakup period, an individual is more at risk for homicide or hospitalization. And the numbers are drastic. If there's a gun in the home, especially when we're thinking about military communities, if there's a gun in the home, people who own guns are not naturally going to be shooting.
Right.
But if it's already an intimate partner violence situation, then during that breakup period is when they're more likely to either be shot or killed.
And it's a very strange dynamic, this abusive relationship that we were talking, I guess maybe last week, just you and I, about how it's very fraught and it's very complicated, where people from the outside say, well, just get out of it. But it's not that easy, because you were talking about those obstacles. What do you see? What do you see a lot of times when people make those 5 to 7 attempts to try to get away from that abusive relationship? You see what exactly? What are those traits that we see, and why they go back?
Well, again, on the hotline.org, you can see all 50 obstacles. But if you just imagine you get in a really big fight and you're like, that's it, I'm done, and you start driving away. One really unfortunately effective tactic that abusers can try is flipping the script, kind of. So if the victim leaves and says, that's it, I'm done, it's like reverse psychology, and then the abuser will say, yeah, you're right, you're the worst, and I wish you'd never come back. And then immediately that victimology is then going to reinforce the victim's need to apologize, or to reinforce that they love them, or they want to do better. And it's very quick. It's a very quick mental shift from that's it, I'm done, to oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? Please, I apologize. And that's when somebody knows that they're being manipulative at that point. That's not a mistake. We may not know that jealousy can lead to abusive behavior at first. We may not really identify our own behaviors. We're constantly learning how to be better people and better partners, but manipulative behavior like that is willful, and that's on purpose.
And you can get people here if they contact you at your phone number. That's 618-222-5734. You can help them through this process if they have to get out of a relationship.
So I want to be clear that I'm not a victim advocate, but we do have a family advocacy program on base. And at a minimum, the victim advocate on base will always be able to connect our people to, or our families to, a resource. If they're eligible for the family advocacy program, again, that would require Title 32 federal orders or Title 10. But there are a lot of really good local resources that can help with free legal advice, shelter, and just emotional support during a time that someone else might be in your phone telling you everything that's wrong with you. And so then if you have a victim advocate that is reminding you the opposite, it can help that person see that their worth, their value is not placed into just what their abuser thinks of them.
All right, if you need to talk to Keeley about this or want to find out more information about what you can do maybe to help an airman who is maybe in this situation, call Keeley Speck at Airman and Family Readiness, 618-222-5734. So, Keeley, boy, it's really hard to shift gears from something as heavy as domestic violence. But you brought a box, a nice looking red box. What's in that box that you brought in?
Well, actually, it is a pretty decent segue because, as we said, last month was Suicide Awareness Month and suicide prevention. The best way to prevent people from becoming victims of themselves or other people is by building that relationship so that they feel safe to go and get help. And so one thing that I started doing, I got this box from a company called We're Not Really Strangers. And ideally, I brought it because we really just don't know each other.
Right.
In general, anyone that comes into my office, I know them as an airman, and as I try to always remind them, looking at you right now, I said this last time I was here, you always have two names on your shirt.
Right.
And I want to get to know the one that you identify with the most, the one that you identified before the Air Force and that you'll continue to identify with after the Air Force. And so none of these questions are military related.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a nice red box. I like the box.
So if someone came to in-process, I've just been starting to ask them some of these questions. It's kind of like a get-to-know-you game.
Okay.
But it just gives them the opportunity to be seen.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And really, by having some of these conversations, I have seen a difference in the likeliness that people will come back and want to have that safe space.
Right.
You know, I tell people when they in-process or just when they see me ever, and Travis does as well, that if you just need to breathe and you just want to remember that you're human and that you matter, come to our office and we can just kick it for 15 minutes if that's what you need is a breather. And during drill, you know, we often see people that just come in and are like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I'm here, I'm good.
Yeah, I felt like that. I felt that way last week
Yeah.
too, which then I said, we can't talk because then we'll lose everything for the podcast and we won't have anything to talk about.
But so it's technically a game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's 3 levels to this game. And the first level is focused on perception, and it just changes the types of questions that would be asked. The second level is connection, and then the third level is reflection, which is more reflecting on what you got to know about that person throughout the question.
Okay, boy, this sounds like I better have a piece of paper and write it down, take notes.
It can be really fun. Okay, so I'll ask you a question first.
Okay.
And then I'll let you pick a card.
Okay.
So the first question, now again, this is very serious.
Okay, very serious. Hold on, what's the name of the name of the game? I got to hold it out here because oh boy, I almost broke it. We're Not Really Strangers is the name of this game.
Well, that's the company. I don't actually know what the game is called.
I like that. We're Not Really Strangers.
Yeah.
Oh, here. This book says, "Hello, stranger, how to play." All right.
Okay, first question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is for you.
Okay, for me.
Do I seem like a cat or a dog person?
I would say, well, you're raising your eyebrows. I would say a cat person. You seem pretty chill. But I can't remember. Didn't you say you have a dog or you don't have a dog?
See, we're not really strangers, but we're not really twins. Oh, man. No, I've never owned a cat. I've never had a cat. I love dogs so much. But, okay, I will tell you.
Yeah.
I did save a kitten that was in my wheel well.
Oh, my goodness.
Just a super teeny tiny, like, month-old black cat. Like witchcraft vibes, right? Like the bright green eyes. He was so cute. Oh, wow. He was so cute.
How did you find him in your wheel well?
He was just meowing out there, you know.
Like you didn't find him after you drove like 10 miles down the road?
No, thank God.
And he stuck. Because of centrifugal force, he stuck into the wheel well?
No, that poor kitten. Oh my gosh. No, so I took him upstairs and, my husband is like, what? Get that thing outside. I was like, no, sorry. I don't know what to do with cats, so I'm just like feeding him through an eyedropper some milk.
Was he that small?
No, but I didn't know that. I don't know anything about cats. So
Okay.
apparently he could have eaten like real food.
Probably, yeah.
But I was convinced I knew what I was doing. So I took him to the vet, and I wasn't able to keep him.
Oh,
So,
bummer.
but the vet did. The vet adopted him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so because I don't know what to do with a cat.
I don't really either. I used to like cats. We have a cat and 2 dogs now. And the cat this morning, as I'm driving to work this morning, my wife texts me and says, let me just read the text because this is absolutely hilarious. I could not believe this happened today. Or at least I thought it was funny. You may not. I don't know.
Okay, let's see.
You don't even like my setup in here. So
I'm
you're
a tough audience.
Yeah, you are. Okay, Mouse, the name of our cat, released a bird in Meg's room, our 15-year-old's, about to be 16-year-old's room. And dumb me asks, a live one?
Yeah.
And yes, it was a live one. Now, this is the same cat that we had. We had a mouse in our house, and our cat just looks at it like, hey, you guys going to do something about this?
Well, he
like,
just
that's
knew.
your job.
Yeah.
You just looked at it. She
Fired.
says Meg was up there screaming like she was being attacked, which I can see.
So the bird was alive.
The bird was alive. The cat brought a live bird in. I let her out at 5:30, 5:15, 5:30 this morning, and it's like, whatever, go outside. And I guess she came in through the dog door with somehow not killing a bird, and brought it into my daughter's room like, hey, look what I brought you.
Okay, now the impressive part of the story is going to be what kind of bird.
That I did not ask.
See, if it was something like a chickadee, I'm not impressed. But if it was like a raven or a pelican, I'm really going to be shocked.
I would be really impressed if it was a pelican because you don't see many of those.
Well, you never know. The ocean's pretty close.
Actually, we do have pelicans here, I think. I've seen some on my bike rides. I believe I've seen some. They look like pelicans. I don't know. They look like big birds. Bigger than what I've seen usually around here.
It's probably a heron.
What do they look like?
Like a heron. Pelicans have like that big, bucket.
Bucket?
beak.
Yeah, I didn't think that. Oh, okay. Maybe it was a heron. I don't know. Do I need to pull the card out and ask you? So I'm asking. Okay, here we go. I'm pulling out a question from Hello, Stranger. Oh, I got to get my glasses out for this one.
Oh, it's a wild
It's a wild card.
Oh, gosh.
Is this, what does this mean?
It's just more work.
Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Think of your favorite brand of cereal. On the count of 3, say your answers out loud. This is for both players. Mm-hmm. Okay, so ready?
Wait.
Your favorite brand of cereal. Favorite brand. Okay, how about favorite type? I can't think of a favorite brand. I guess it'd be like Kellogg or Post.
No, I could say like the name of the cereal.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Ready? 3.
I'm embarrassed of my answer.
Oh, boy. 2, 1. Raisin Bran.
Grape nuts.
Oh, grape nuts are great. I love grape nuts. The box is too small. And the cool thing about grape nuts is you can patch things on the wall. You could patch your deck with grape nuts and have a filling breakfast all at the same time.
My current is Eggo. I really
Eggo cereal?
Yeah, like I'm 5. It's really good. But grape nuts for my whole life has been my favorite.
Grape nuts have been my jam too. I like them a lot.
Half and half and sugar.
Oh, now you're ruining them.
Mm-mm. Oh, well, that's how my grandfather did it, and so I don't know any other way to eat
Oh,
them.
I see.
And be happy.
Yeah, it bums me out because the box is so small.
Yeah.
So it's like after one time at breakfast, and I've done some handiwork around the house.
I really don't think you're supposed to eat that much at a time.
Oh, really? Well, then they need to make bigger boxes.
It's like
then.
a lot of fiber. I
don't know.
Some advice. You might want to consult your physician.
Are those really grapes? Are those really made out of grapes?
No grapes, no nuts. It's nothing.
What is it? Gravel?
I think maybe it looks like grape seeds. I don't know.
No, I've always wondered why it's, it's like I always look at grapes and going, okay,
No.
how did you get the... That's why the box is so small, because you can't get a lot of nuts out of grapes.
No.
Or grape seeds out of... Oh, here's your card back.
Thanks. That's
Yeah.
like prune juice.
All right.
It's already a dried fruit. How much more can they get out of that?
I don't know. Blood from a stone, I guess.
Okay. Do you want one more from level 1?
Let's do one more from level 1, sure.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Well,
This is from the game Hello Stranger. Good way to get to know your wingman.
okay. Do I seem like more of a creative or analytical type?
Well, I was wrong about the cat thing. I'm going to say my first thought was creative. Because you got very nice tattoos, and your office is part of the office is very nice. It seems like you're creative. You're into that kind of thing. You can think on the fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay. What do you think? What do you say?
I was gonna say I don't even know the answer to this. As I'm like overthinking the answer, I think that makes me analytical.
There you go.
But I think everyone is on a spectrum with that question.
Yeah, I would agree. Everyone's on a spectrum on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Okay, let's see. Do I get a wild card? We're playing Hello Stranger. Good way to get to know your friends. Oh boy.
You could put it back.
Okay. Okay, I'll try one more. That was a little bit, I don't know.
Tough.
That was for me to ask you, whatever. Or me, I don't know. Do you think I've ever been fired from a job? If so, what for?
Your first job in high school for smoking weed. That's my guess.
Nope. My yes and no. I was fired. I already had another job, and they're like, why don't you just leave? I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Peace out. So that was it.
I got fired from Sonic, my first job, because
Really?
I don't know how to roller skate.
Why did they hire you then? Shouldn't that be part of the enrollment?
They
the
did.
application.
They asked me, and they thought I would just get better, and I didn't.
I can't imagine roller skating outside. That cannot be easy.
I'm just not coordinated at all.
All right, here we go. Level 2. I think we're getting a little harder with Hello Stranger here. Yeah, I think it was just I worked over at Merritt's in Fenton. Everybody knows where that's at on 44 going out towards Target. We worked for, or not Target. My first job was Target. This is after I got out of the Army. I worked for this Merritt's company, and then I got a job in radio, and I was like, I'm out of here. So, and they're like, yeah, why don't you just leave?
And now you're here, living the dream.
Yes, right.
That's right. Okay, when you're asked, how are you, how often do you answer truthfully?
0. That's what, I think I heard about that with Europeans. I think it's Europeans. People in Europe, I don't know. Those are Europeans.
You're really good at words.
Really, thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is true. Imagine that. I'm really good with words. Not really. Where was I at with this? They hate Americans because they don't like the way that we greet each other because we say, how are you? But we always answer the same way. Mm-hmm. What about you? I never say, well, let me see. What do you want me to start? Nobody wants to hear that.
That's true. Well, I want to hear it for the record. If you're listening and I ask you, I genuinely want to know how you feel. But I also assume that nobody has the time or compartmentalization. It's like, I don't want to think about how I'm feeling, so I'm just going to say I'm fine. Depending on who it is, I might start with, and then if they're like, oh, then I'll get into it. But typically it's like, another day, or if it's bad.
Right.
If word of the wise, if I'm ever just like, I'm fine, no one's fine.
No.
My mom loves that FINE is an acronym: freaked out, insecure, nervous, and emotional. And Actually, I think she says neurotic, and I don't think that's appropriate. But just no one's ever just fine.
I would agree with that. I think that's pretty. I don't know. I guess that's true in a way.
I mean, I definitely feel like there's moments where you're just like flatlined and you're just...
See, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, but we're not alive to be flatlined. So, if we really thought about why we just are going through the motions that day, it's fine. But if you could be jumping off the walls and, beaming with joy,
that would be boring if you did it every day. So that's why you have to be fine sometimes.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah, you couldn't do it every day. Wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, all emotions are good emotions.
Okay, what's next?
It's your
turn. Is it my turn to choose? Okay, here we go. Not looking, playing Hello Stranger. Here we go. All right. I got to get the old glasses out here. Red on white. Not a good combination when you're almost colorblind. If you have, when was the moment you realized you weren't invincible?
I don't know. I wasn't invincible. Like when I got hurt or something?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, like you were like, oh, I am not this is true. I'm not invincible. I don't know if I could think of an exact.
Well, I don't know. I got hurt a lot growing up and like falling or and my dad was always in and out of the hospital and like constantly in surgery and stuff. And then he comes out and he's like mowing the lawn, and so I was like, oh, it's not that bad even when it's that bad. And so I feel like it must have been something recent then. I don't think I learned it very young.
Really?
Yeah, my dad's a champ. I think maybe for me, I was trying to teach. Do you know those like big domes at the playground?
Yeah.
They're like, it's like monkey bars, but if they were bent.
Oh yeah, sure,
yeah. So I was trying to teach a friend. I was like 8. I tried to teach a friend. I was really good at walking across the dome with no hands.
Wow.
Yeah, really impressive.
It is.
And
very much.
So I was trying to teach her, and I slipped and fell, and my tooth went through my lip.
Ouch.
And I had to go to the ER and get surgery. Or not surgery, stitches.
I don't think I've ever. That's how many stitches did you get?
Just like 1.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, you can't even see like a scar unless I point it out.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Did you keep your teeth?
Yeah.
Did your tooth fall out or did it stay in?
But
really?
I mean, I was 8, so I don't know I don't know when you lose.
You would have lost. You would have lost your tooth anyways. I mean, so it wouldn't have been a big deal because you would have got your adult teeth probably coming in soon around that time. But
it's mixed feelings. And my dad was trying to carry me because I have this bloody face. My dad was trying to carry me back to the house, but he had just had back surgery, and I knew the doctor told him he can't carry more than 50 pounds. Now I'm 8, but I'm pretty sure I was more than 50 pounds. No idea. And I told him, Dad, I can walk. This is going to hurt your back. So it's like, I'm not invincible, but my pain doesn't have to like override someone else's pain. And so I don't know what that is.
So you're saying maybe when you're 8 years old, that's when you realized I'm not invincible.
Maybe.
I'm trying to figure out when I figured out that I'm not invincible. Probably that time when I was sliding down the hill in old High Ridge, Missouri, and on my my new snow what do you call those, sleds? Yeah. On my sled, and I slid on my sled into my neighbor's mailbox. That was awesome. That was fun. So that's probably when I figured out that I'm not invincible.
But here's the thing. You're still here and I'm still here. So
this is true.
I've still yet to seen proof.
Well, this is true. I mean, I haven't come close to death yet, I guess. So I guess we're okay.
Level 3?
Level 3.
Okay. We only asked one in that one, I think. I don't know.
That's fine.
Okay, level 3. What am I most qualified to give advice about?
What are you most qualified to give advice about?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, boy.
It doesn't have to be about my job.
But that is your job.
Mm.
And it's solid advice at Airman and Family Readiness. That's why you're in that job. Because you have that, you just have the information that we need. So the advice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I don't know what advice exactly, but just being able to go to your room and maybe just into your office and just calm down for a minute or just take a deep breath. That's you can call that advice. You're giving us that space.
You avoided the entire question.
I think I forgot about the question by the time I got into it.
What type of advice do you think I'm most qualified to give as a person?
What advice do I think you're most qualified to give? Life advice. I mean, I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. But you give advice all day long over next door. That's your job.
That's true. But to be fair, the third level is reflection on the conversation.
Oh, I forgot what the third level was.
See?
You are very analytical, and you like dogs.
That's not.
So you can give advice.
You're fired from this question.
Oh boy, I'm doing it all wrong. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, next. All right. What question were you most afraid to answer? Okay, so this is where I see. Now I get the game. This is what is this? This is called Hello, Stranger. This is the reflection card.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing this again?
Yeah.
Okay. What answer of mine made you light up?
It technically wasn't your question, but the story about the cat was definitely appealing. And to be fair, I don't hate cats.
I didn't say you hated cats.
Well, I did in my tone of voice.
Oh.
So I don't hate cats. I've just never met a cat that I like.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm never around cats.
Right.
But like,
I mean, how often do you see cats and you get to have a conversation? They are hard to have conversations with.
That's
so
true.
They are very hard. They're very obtuse. They're very, I don't know. You got to watch them. Cats are sneaky. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
October also is Disability Awareness Month, and it's also American Filipina Month. So each month, also there's just tons of information to just keep learning. So please make yourself more aware of our temporarily able bodies, and that we can all be susceptible to disabled lifestyle at any time, invisible or physical. And just pay attention and have empathy.
All right, Keeley, one more thing before you go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
You know it. You are the purveyor of dad jokes. You got to give us one. Okay. What do you have for us? What do you have for a dad joke?
What do you call twin brothers? Wait.
Okay.
I did that wrong.
Okay.
What do you call vampire twins?
I don't know. What do you call them?
Blood brothers. Okay. That button is so... This feels like they're laughing at me, not with me.
Oh, they're laughing. They're laughing with you. They're instead of having me laugh, I figured, because I sound like an idiot when I laugh on the air.
That was the most passive-aggressive laughter I've ever heard. That was better than the joke.
All right, Keeley Speck from Airman and Family Readiness, thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions for her or need any kind of advice, you can give her a call or stop by her office, which is in Building 5000, right across from us here at Public Affairs. She's out our back door. You can reach her at 618-222-5734. Make sure you stop by our 126th Air Refueling Wing Facebook page. Find out what is going on in the wing this month. You'll see a behind-the-scenes kind of video version of the October podcast that I just did after drill weekend. You might even see this video on Facebook. Some of us need to get Facebook so that they can see things of this nature. She's shaking her head. You kind of need it for your job, but whatever. No. If you want to highlight something in your squadron or what have you, give us a call here at the podcast, or at least drop me a line on email. You can email me at brian.ellison.4@us.af.mil. Thanks for listening to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast focused on people, mission, and community. I'm Tech Sergeant Brian Ellison.